We've got some updates here for you with regard to Dominion's lawsuit against Fox News. And I got to tell you right now, it sure looks like they got the upper hand. Significant ruling from a Delaware judge that came out on Friday. And long story short, this thing is set to go to trial. And some of the pieces of Fox's potential defense have also been ruled out. The judge basically saying, it is not disputable that what you were putting on air was false. You can't argue that it wasn't. It was clearly wrong. It was clearly a misstatement of fact. So that piece of your defense, you're not going to be able to go with. That leaves, and let's go ahead and put this report up on the screen, that the AP headline is Judge Dominion defamation case against Fox will go to trial. And reminder, Dominion is suing Fox for $1.6 billion. This judge ruled that it was, quote, crystal clear that none of the allegations made by Trump allies on Fox in the weeks after the election were true. So now what Fox is going to have to argue in front of a jury is that they did not show actual malice. That's the legal standard that is required for Dominion to prove in order to actually win this case. And the definition of actual malice is that they had to have known it was false or acted with a reckless disregard for whether or not it was true. And of course, Saagar, we have seen some of those internal messages already that certainly seem to indicate that at least some people at Fox knew that what was being put on the air at times was total bullshit, and yet they went along with it anyway. So actual malice, a very difficult standard to prove, though, because in some ways you have to get into someone's like inner thoughts and mentality in order to show definitively that they knew this was false and they did it anyways. So that is the task that is ahead of them.
Yes, that's right. On its face, it seems like a difficult one, but also, guys, this is a Delaware jury. So look, from what I heard, I asked around, people inside of Fox are deeply unhappy with this ruling. They had been holding out on a settlement specifically to see if they would be able to get, not only if they were going to go to trial, but if it could go to trial in the way that they wanted, because now they are not talking about the facts of the case. They are only talking about actual malice. And with the actual malice standard, the fact that they have text messages that showed consternation within and also the overall branding of that, they are either going to have to settle for a massive number. Dominion feels very confident going into this legally that they will prevail. And so they are either going to have to pay very close to what the initial lawsuit is, or they're going to have to take it all the way to the jury and basically roll the dice, where if they're going to pay $1 billion or whatever, then they might as well drag it through court and make it as long as possible. But overall, you can make no mistake, like the Murdochs and Fox News and all of them are very, very upset about this ruling. Don't forget, I mean, that is almost equivalent to an entire year of profit within the network. About $1 billion is what they make in profit overall year over year.
It's not a little slap on the wrist.
It's not nothing. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, they're already facing financial problems because of just diminishing advertising, not specific to Fox, the entire cable network, on top of their overall business is literally on the backs of geriatrics who are dying. You know, no offense to them, but it's just an actuarial table. And so the long-term prospects of their network's not great. Fox Nation is already also not going great. They have a high burn rate in terms of cash with acquisitions. And then on top of that, they might have to pay now over $1 billion. So not good times for the Murdoch family right now. They are paying $1 billion, I think, at this point, no matter what. It's only a question of what the margins are.
I think that is probably correct. Yeah. And they've also kind of placed a bit of a bet on Ron DeSantis in the Republican primary. And odd. Right. I don't think that bet is really working out thus far. Now, that doesn't mean they won't switch horses here the moment that they feel that they have to. I do want to say, you know, read the Fox statement here just for the lawyer's sake. In a statement, they told the AP that Fox will continue to fiercely advocate for the rights of free speech and a free press as we move into the next phase of these proceedings. So they're framing this as a First Amendment free speech issue, which in a sense it certainly is. But yeah, I think they have... The fact that you have such explicit statements from so many of these Fox hosts and producers makes things difficult. There were also some other details that were in this report that underscores, again, the difficult landscape they face. In particular, Dominion went at length through, they fact checked all of the claims that were being made on Fox, and they sent emails to basically everyone within the organization, some like 1,300 emails that they sent out. So literally thousands within the Fox organization of here's where you're wrong and here's what the actual facts are. So pretend like, oh, we had no idea. That makes it difficult. And then within Fox News itself, they have a fact-checking operation internally called the Brain Room, I think. And they had done their own fact-checking of some of the election fraud claims and basically debunked it all. Yep. That also would have gone out and been available to all of the shows. So to claim that, oh, we really believed this or we really had no idea and this was just like an innocent mistake, I think is going to be difficult to convince a jury of that at this point.
Oh, it's going to be a big problem.
Certainly be difficult to convince me at this point that that was the case.
Yeah, of course. It'd be difficult for anybody. And like I said, taking then the account of a Delaware jury. So you already have a disproportionately liberal jury pool, which hates Fox News. So you put all of that together, and I would be very scared if there were lawyers. It's not existential, but business-wise, this is a big problem. And look,
very
of course,
embarrassing for them
legally,
too,
they also are going to have to drag their asses through court, and they are going to try and fight this, to the end. Because even if they do lose, you can appeal it, and there's caps on the amount of payment, damages, et cetera, that all of it can come to. So it's not like Dominion is going to be getting paid, but this is a big drain reputationally and financially. At the end of the day, the Murdochs never really cared about the reputation of Fox, as a journalistic organization or anything. Sure. They cared about the money. This was always a money project, and it's been tremendously successful over the years. That doesn't mean, though, that they're not stupid and they can't see the future. And this very much is going to just, at the very least, limit the amount of cash available for operating expenses, hurting their profit, and all of that. They own not just Fox, all of News Corp, all of these different places, which they remain responsible for. Keep that in mind.
It is a money-making venture at bottom, but I think actually sort of uniquely to the cable news network, it was explicitly set up as an ideological project as well. And that comes through in some of the messages here, too. Like, I think it was Murdoch who messaged, like, all right, well, let's just try to put the election stuff behind it. Let's focus really hard on Georgia and do everything we can to help Republicans there. I'm paraphrasing, those weren't the exact words, but it was like very explicit, like, we want Republicans to win in Georgia, and we're going to do everything we can. Now, listen, do the other two cable news networks also push hard for Democrats? Yes. I don't even know that it makes a difference to make this distinction at this point. Those two really did just follow, like, the money sort of led them into the liberal positioning that they're in now. With Fox, it was set up originally as an explicitly ideological project. I do think that that relates to another thing that comes through in the messages here, which is they were really quite terrified of the rise of Newsmax in particular.
Oh, yeah.
During the election fraud, stop the steal peak, Newsmax was getting hundreds of thousands of viewers, and Fox was falling off a cliff. And, these things can turn really quickly, even with all of the years and the money and the investment and the brand name and everything that Fox has going for them. They really perceived Newsmax as a sort of existential threat. And so that caused them, even as there was some desire in the beginning to rebut Trump's claims, that really caused them to make a U-turn, it appears, and go in the other direction because they were so fearful of the audience, which they no longer had control over, which I also think is just revealing in terms of the cable news landscape. There was this idea in the Republican primary, oh, Fox has picked DeSantis, that's going to be great for him. They're going to be able to promote him and push him over the finish line. But they don't have that. If they ever had that kind of control over the Republican base, they definitely do not have that kind of control anymore.
Oh, absolutely. I recommend people go and read. It's called The Loudest Voice in the Room. It's a biography of Roger Ailes, but it's about the history and the founding of Fox News. I always found it very interesting just to see exactly, as you said, the power that they once had. Not that long ago. We're talking about 10 years ago. In 2012, they were kingmakers for the Tea Party, for the 2012, the whole decision behind the scenes about Romney. They even had a meeting. Murdoch at one point was flirting with Obama because his wife at the time liked Obama. And so they were like, well, maybe we'll broker a peace deal. Obama took this meeting, very seriously. He saw Fox as his #1 enemy. It's just, it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like with the internet, all of that has changed. For the better. because at least people like us can exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.